19th century American reformer Horace Mann once said, "Be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity." Also, Jimmy Johnson, a former American football coach and sports analyst, said, "The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra." I'm glad you joined us for another ride with the Eagle, a program from the stables of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. It's 1 year since the present administration of Abdurrashid Bawa took over the reign of affairs of the EFCC. How has it been? Stay with us on this special edition of the program as we x-ray the topic, Bawa at one, how far, how well? My name is Aisha Muhammad. Stay with us. It's been positive reports of activities surrounding the EFCC since the present administration took over. This confirms the belief that it's good to celebrate and keep on celebrating, especially when you know you're playing a part for the good of your country. This is the mood the EFCC is in as the Commission celebrates with Abdurrashid Bawa on his 1 year in office as the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Just to refresh your memory, on 24th February 2021, Abdurrashid Bawa was screened by the Senate to take over the leadership of the EFCC. And before long, he was confirmed and sworn into office on 5th March 2021. The then 40-year-old Bawa took over the mantle of leadership from his predecessor, Muhammad Umar Abba. Bawa has since held the reign with a great number of initiatives, revamps and renovations of the anti-graft agency. In our interview segment today, we will be hearing from Bawa himself on how the journey has been as he clocks 1 year in office as the chairman of the EFCC. Ojochukutame Eche is standing by. Over to you, Ojochukutame.
Now, it's been 1 year since Abdurrashid Bawa took over the leadership of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. And as you heard, we are here on this segment to hear the executive chairman himself and how it has been with him. Mr. Bawa, welcome on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so now we're talking your administration so far. It's been almost exactly 365 days since you took over. Now, how has it been with you being the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission?
Well, so far so good, but I don't think it is my administration now. It is our administration. It's our own collective responsibility at the EFCC to ensure that we are all doing it, for the betterment of this country. So far so good. I'm a son of the soil. I grew up here. This is my only job. I came with the knowledge of the problems. I came with a clear vision on how to deal with the problems and how to solve the problems. And so far so good. We have set on, we have been dealing with the problems head on internally and externally, and then we are doing well. I think there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, let's look at what a lot of people have been saying from different quarters of Nigeria. The first of all is that the EFCC fight has been selective all this while. Now, what would you say to that when it comes to arrests, to investigations, to prosecution? A lot of people have tagged it as an attack dog. So let's hear from you. What would you say to that?
Well, I've answered this question, I think, time and time again. I can't remember any forum like this where I'm not asked this question. And I have one answer, to it. The provision of Section 7 of the EFCC Establishment Act is very clear regarding what is expected of us to do, or the laws that we are empowered to enforce. Advance Fee Fraud and Other Related Offences Act, Money Laundering Prohibition Act, Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act, Failed Bank Recovery of Debt Act, Miscellaneous Offences Act, provisions of Penal Code and Criminal Code, as well as, of course, cybercrime that came in after the EFCC Establishment Act. These are the laws. So for whatever thing that we are doing it within the enforcement of these laws, as well as the EFCC Act itself, as well as other provisions there that tend to determine what is expected of us on how we are going to do it. Now, I am also not aware of any EFCC chairman that has not been asked this question. Now, the question is not about, the motive of the investigation. Let's look at the fact that we have investigated. Is there anybody that was arrested by the EFCC or that was charged to court that is saying that no, the issues or the allegations against him are all false? Just this morning, there are quite Some people came to see me this morning, discussing about this. And one of the things that they said is that the man is being reported against because he has switched over from one political party to another. And my answer to them is that, okay, who is pursuing him? Is it that the political party that he left, you understand, they are now angry that he left, so they are now reporting him because they knew what he did was wrong? Or that the party that he has entered is now looking at, no, look, we are filled up here. Why are you here to come and disturb us? So they are lighting the petition against him. But the bottom line is that, look, he has done something. He has diverted public funds, and the EFCC will have to investigate. So it's a tag that we'll continue to live by. If this party is ruling, they will say we are attacking this. If that party is ruling, they will say we are attacking it. But we are not selective. We have never been selective. What has always been our guiding principle is that, look, we are here to ensure that this country is free of economic and financial crimes. We identify what crime has been committed, who committed the crime, link the two together, and we move on. So be it.
And that means, Mr. Chairman, sir, you would be ready to answer this question time and time again.
Certainly. We are not tired of it, of answering it, because Nigerians need to be educated about some of these things. And that is why we are concerned, to the effect that, look, Nigerians need to come together and understand that the problem of corruption, the problem of economic and financial crimes, is not that of the EFCC, but that of, every Nigerian to be part of.
Okay, now you are the very first core EFCC officer to become chairman of the EFCC. Now, how have you been able to use your knowledge and understanding of the needs of officers and men to address those needs?
Well, I think it's one of the advantages that I have, having been here for 16 years before I attained this position. Quite a number of my predecessors did not have that luxury of time to have grown within the system, to attain this position. I have been an ordinary team member. I've been a team leader. I've been 2IC to sectional head. I've been a sectional head. I've been a zonal commander in not 1, not 2, not 3. So at the risk of being immodest, I know that I have, a fair idea of what the problems are and what the solutions to some of them that we think that we should do. And as I said earlier on, it's a collective thing. Give and take. We know ourselves, and we know what the problems are, and we have been dealing with them head on. We now have a better institution than the way we met it a year ago. We have done quite well. Very soon we are going to launch the standard operation procedures that we have. We have developed our own in-house with some experts, assisting us to look at. We have developed policy documents that are going to weed out, a usage of discretion by CEOs of this place, so that at least the institution should take ownership regarding what needs to be done, how it's supposed to be done, and by who, and where, and in what capacity. And I think that is the bedrock of any organization that wants to strive and be focused about. And of course, we are aware of the fact that we also launch our strategic plan, with the collective, input from our partners, ROLAC, as well as British Council, etc., as well as the EFCC itself, which is a clear, roadmap on where we are and where we want to be. The strategic objectives are very clear. 5 strategic objectives that we feel that will take us to the next, stage of fighting economic and financial crimes in this country, if we are focused on delivering on them.
Okay, let's go to something very, very key here. You are from the same state as the AGF, and he is your supervising minister. How have you been able to withstand pressures from him on some cases you are handling already?
Well, I think here too, there is a bit of misunderstanding here. Okay, first of all, let me start by telling you that the Attorney General of the Federation is one of the most patriotic Nigerians that I've met during the course of my career, as a law enforcement agent. But that is one. 2, it is more of a coincidence that he happens to be from a particular state, where I happens to be from a particular state. But the question here is very simple, and it's one: whether or not whether or not the appointee or the chairman has the capacity and the capability to do the job.
So you're coming from the same state does not really matter?
It doesn't really matter. You must come from this. There are a lot of people that have, after all, we are all Nigerians. It's an issue of capacity to deliver. We have the capacity to deliver. You made mention that he is our supervisory minister. No. The office of the Attorney General of the Federation Ministry of Justice is not a supervisory minister or ministry to the EFCC, but he is the chief law officer. We have a lot of things that we have to pass through the office of the Accountant General, Attorney General of the Federation, issues of extradition, issues of mutual legal assistance request, and of course, he has the right by virtue of Section 174 of the Constitution to enter into a nolle regarding any matter that is already in court, if you so wish, based on certain considerations. So we don't pass our budgets through him. We don't tend to notify him if we are carrying out any investigation. We don't tend to also notify him if we are going to commence prosecution of anything. So why are people so scared about the fact that Attorney General, there is no interference whatsoever from anybody? You understand? We are a law enforcement agency. We are doing our work the way we see it, based on the available laws that are at our disposal, and based on, of course, what we normally know how to do best. To do it and then take it before the court and let the court decide in the event that we are there.
Let's look at the progress so far. This 1 year that you've been in office as the chairman of EFCC, how has it been under your watch?
Although so far so good, as I said, the first thing, we know the problems, we identify the problems, we set out to solve the problems. I just informed you regarding some of the procedures that we have developed, policy documents that we have developed. We have done quite a bit, in terms of restructuring and repositioning and the reform within the system. We have also succeeded, in no small measure, to ensure that, the welfare package of the staff of the Commission is improved. And the President graciously, His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari, graciously approved that. So there is no complaint in terms of staff welfare as it is today, while they are working, as well as when eventually they retire from the service. So we have taken care of that problem. Some of the issues that we have identified, or problems, regarding what is going on within the public space as well as the private space. Unfortunately, I will not be able to say that problem, to the press, because it's like telling the people that you'll eventually, investigate, or that you are investigating, that these are the problems and these are the issues and these are the solutions to those problems. We have to keep them to our chest and continue to work, on those problems. And in war, you need to understand yourself, and we have understood ourselves. We are working towards training and retraining. We are working towards, ensuring that the strategic plan that we have in place is being our guide. The strategic objectives that we felt that we want to attain with our plan are 5. One is to have an increased, public engagement in the fight against economic and financial crimes. We need improvement, regarding prevention, and then of course intelligence-driven investigation, and then issues of, collaboration with other stakeholders, and then finally issues that has to do with what, human capital development and institutional capacity. If you look at it, it's all encompassing. That look, we are focused, and the plan should be our guide, because if you fail to plan, then you have already planned to fail. We have planned, therefore we are thinking that, God willing, if everything is set out as planned, we will succeed at the end of the day. So far so good. I have to acknowledge the resilience and the support of the EFCC staff. They have been tremendous in terms of their cooperation towards seeing that the new EFCC of our dream, is coming to life during our own lifetime. And then, of course, to our international partners too, they have all come back here now. We are working together to ensure, that our partnership is more robust, to the attainment of the objective or the vision of this commission. which is a Nigeria free of economic and financial crime, to the civil society organization, the media, print and electronic. They have always been supportive, and they have continued to do that. So by and large, I think we are good to go, and we are doing our best to ensure that our mandate is being achieved at the end of the day.
Still on the issue of progress, let's look at convictions, let's look at arrest, and of course asset recovery. What would you say has been the progress so far?
Well, last year, maybe I supposed to, last year we recorded an unprecedented 2,220 convictions, you know, which is the highest ever attained. 2,220 convictions, which is the highest, you know, ever attained within one calendar year in the history of this commission. And you know, credit goes to the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. They set out to, from the beginning, that anti-corruption is one of the cardinal, one-third of the things that this administration wants to achieve. I don't know whether you have seen the press release in that regard. 2016, the EFCC recorded 198 convictions only. And it has been an upward projection. By 2021, 2,220. Some people in Nigeria are just you know, convicting Yahoo or thereabout. Conviction is conviction. It's part of our mandate to do that. If you have to look at that number, you know that yes, both the EFCC and the government have done tremendously well in that regard. We have recorded also quite a number of successful you know, recoveries, about 152 billion naira, over 350 million US dollars. These are both direct and indirect recoveries, and these are recoveries for the federal government, for the state government, as well as for you know, individuals. So quite the numbers are there for everybody to see, and we are very proud of what we have done last year. Are we happy with the figures? The answer is no. And there are room for improvement. The answer is yes, and we'll continue to improve until our vision is achieved, which is Nigeria free of economic and financial crimes.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, sir, on 14th of July 2021, an app was launched at the EFCC headquarters here. It's called the Eagle Eye app. Now, how has the app fared? How has it helped in the fight against economic and financial crimes?
Oh, marvelous. It's one of the things that we have succeeded in bringing on board when I came in as the EFCC chairman. It was something that was built in-house. You know, more or less we can say not at zero cost. We succeeded in paying some fees and some, you know, accommodation for the young officers, you know, that helped us to develop that. And it has been, you know, an avenue in which Nigerians are now reporting crimes to us with ease. You know, there's thousands of downloads already, and I can tell you that you know, the information that we have been getting from it is mind-boggling, and we have been using that information, you know, to investigate a lot of cases, and we'll continue to do that. And I want to use this opportunity to urge Nigerians, you know, to continue to download and to continue to make use of it, you know, to report crimes, you know, with ease. That does not necessarily mean that the traditional way of writing complaint is not being considered by the EFCC, but it's providing an alternative in which, at the comfort of your office, you can, you know, complain to us anonymously, or you can even write your name if you want to come in as a whistleblower. It is a revolution that I feel that every law enforcement agency should try and have one, you know, to deal with Nigerians regarding their mandate as well.
Okay, now in the 1 year that you've been in charge, your agency has been accused of violating the rights of citizens, like breaking into hotel rooms and private homes, you know, in the pursuit of Yahoo boys. Why is this so?
Well, it is quite unfortunate that if you look at the numbers last year alone, last year we have arrested close to 1,000, you know, alleged or suspected cyber criminals. 1,000. Now, of all the complaints that you have just mentioned, it's not up to maybe 3 or 5 or 10. I'm not trying to say that maybe what was done, allegedly, if actually it was done, you know, is right. But if you look at the numbers, 1,020, you can see that the percentage is more or less insignificant. You understand? But we are dealing with suspects that unfortunately you cannot write an invitation letter. They are not the type of suspects that you write an invitation letter that, Mr. Musa Uchenna Kayode, please report to EFCC number 15 Awolowo Road, because we are suspecting that you are into Yahoo Yahoo, and then you drop it in his house. Is he going to come? You know, even if he's going to come, you have given an opportunity for him to clear all the digital evidence at his disposal. So we have no option than to carry out, surveillance activities, spending hours and hours and hours monitoring them, and of course to carry out sting operation to get them arrested and try to see whether we can recover these digital items. So majority of them are in their hotels. That's where they normally stay. They don't stay at home. They normally go there in group to operate and all of that. And we tend to trail them over time. And of course, we have to carry out sting operation to get them arrested. Now, in between that, a lot of people will tend to report one or two things, but we have always maintained professionalism in what we are doing. And after all those people that were arrested, none of them have come to complain that I was arrested, without committing the crime itself. Of course, quite few, open arrests, and of course, when they are brought down to the office, we tend to screen them, and then we find that maybe they are not into it as per the report, and of course, they will be allowed to go. So it's something that we have to continue to do. We are not saying that we are perfect. There is always room for improvement, but the way that is being sensationalized within the media space, that is not how it is. And I call on Nigerians that they should look at the positive sides of it, not the negative side. What we are doing is not for us, EFCC alone, is for the entire country. This problem of cybercrime is a huge problem if you place it on every parameter that you can think of. Killing businesses, people getting money illegally, issues of laundering, distorting the economy, not contributing, your own genuine quota to this, the victims that are there, emotionally, trauma that they have, losing their own life savings. It's so many things that you can place their activities, and it's not good for us. And as a youth myself, I'm calling on all, Nigerian youth to desist from this act of. There are a lot of things. This country is so huge and so important that the resources can be harnessed and our talent can be harnessed to something better rather than fraud and criminality. And I think that is the way to go. And I know and I hope that with our faith and with our belief, Nigerian youth should be able to abandon this and continue to this. Well, of course, we'll continue to do what we have to do, based on our mandate.
But in a situation where something like this, because you used the word alleged, in a situation where this actually took place, what does the EFCC management do about officers who violated the laws, breaking into hotels and private homes?
The operational procedures are there. They are very clear. Operational orders are being issued. If you go on your way to do something that is completely wrong, there are rules and regulations that will deal with you accordingly. And that is where queries are being issued. And we have said it time and time again, that the EFCC is among the few agencies of government that have what we call Department of Internal Affairs. You understand that, it's there for them to police us as the EFCC on what we are doing and how we should do our things. So, a lot of people were dismissed last year. A lot of staff of the EFCC were dismissed last year. Why? Because of one infraction or another. And we'll continue to do that until we have, personnel that we want, people that are above board, and people that are willing to always sacrifice for the betterment of this country.
Before I let you go, Mr. Chairman, sir, what is the future outlook of the EFCC?
The future outlook is very bright. I'm very pleased with the staff that we have, with the things that we have achieved, with the cooperation and collaboration that we have received from other stakeholders, as well as the government determination is also another moral booster on this. Are we satisfied with what is happening right now? The answer is no. Are there room for improvement? We are improving by the day. Are we succeeding in the fight against economic and financial crimes with all sense of modesty? I think we are. looking at where we were before the coming of the EFCC and where we are now. If not for anything, at least we have raised the awareness that corruption is wrong, and that when you cross the line, that the EFCC is there to get you anywhere, anytime.
And now, before I let you go, finally, what's your word of advice to Nigerians?
My word of advice to Nigerians has always been what it is. We are the most religious country in this planet Earth. If you spread the map of this country, you'll agree with me that we have Muslims that are practicing the religion more than any other country, maybe with the exception of Saudi Arabia. If you look at us here also, we have a lot of devoted Christians, more than any other country, including countries in Europe. And my advice is that, look, we have a lot of potential in this country. If well financed, we are going to be the very best among the very best in this planet Earth, and we can do it. All that we need to do is to have a change in our attitude, and we'll be prayerful, we'll be energetic as we are, continue to do what we have to do. And I believe that the sky is our limit as a country, and it can be done. We all should always remember that the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. And I want to conclude, by saying that we as Nigerians, we should stop fixing the blame for what has happened in the past. We should accept our own responsibility for the future. The biggest office that you can think of is the office of the citizen. And everybody has a responsibility to ensure that within the turf where he is standing, he is always doing the right thing. And together, we are going to make ourselves proud and secure the future of our children, our children's children.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdul Rashid Bawa, for coming on the program today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And that has been the Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Mr. Abdul Rashid Bawa, and he has been speaking on his 1 year in office. Thank you so much for joining us on the segment of the program. Aisha Mohammed takes over from here. Thank you.
Well, as the Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdul Rashid Bawa marks 1 year in office, we, the staff and management of the EFCC and Nigeria as a whole, wish him well and many more fruitful years ahead. And as stated by Abdul Rashid Bawa himself, the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. We should all have a change in attitude. Nigerians should accept responsibilities, as the office of the citizenry is the biggest office. So do the right thing always. Everyone looks forward to more vigor on the part of the EFCC. The Eagle team urges you to stay faithful in the cause to make Nigeria a better place for yourself, your children, and generations yet unborn. One way to do this is to shun economic and financial crimes, campaign against economic and financial crimes, and report financial crimes wherever you find it happening. Before we end the program, the EFCC wants to sound this note of caution. Be careful what type of investment scheme you subscribe to. Here are some tips for you to look out for you to avoid being scammed. A high return with little or no risk. Overly consistent returns. Unregistered investment. Unlicensed sellers. Secretive and complex strategies. Avoid investment if you don't understand them or can't get complete information about them. If there is difficulty in receiving payment or have difficulty cashing out, be suspicious. This is because Ponzi scheme promoters sometimes try to prevent participants from cashing out by offering even higher returns for staying put. And that concludes our program for the day. We will be back next week, same time, same station. Don't forget to keep a date with us. But before we go, here is a reminder that you can send an email to info@efcc.gov.ng and you can speak to our officers and representatives on 0809 3322 644 and follow us on all our social media platforms at official EFCC for matters relating to economic and financial crimes. If you see fraud happening, use the EFCC mobile app, the Eagle Eye. Download the app, follow the steps, and report fraud on the go. You can also take pictures of corrupt practices and upload them. My name is Aisha Mohammed, leaving you with this parting words that says, leaders instill in their people a hope for success and a belief in themselves. Positive leaders empower people to accomplish their goals. Please do the right thing always, God bless Nigeria. Please do stay safe, be kind to one another. Goodbye and enjoy the rest of the week.